Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, the question that I will be answering is, what are the reasons for the breakdown of marriage? There are many ways to answer this question. The answer is going to depend on which perspective you're coming from, whether a psychology perspective or any other kind of perspective. But in this video, we're going to be looking at it from a scriptural perspective. What that means is based on the idea that marriage didn't come by itself. It was invented by God, as we read in Genesis chapter 2, verses 23 to 24. And so the rules that he set in place concerning that, which we'll discuss, are what determine how it should be. So generally, marriage breaks down when its foundation of trust and leadership collapses. In any relationship, be it between a parent and a child, a citizen and their government, or even between a human being and God, it is the trust that both sides have for each other, coupled with a stable hierarchy, recognized by both sides, that ensures that it continues. But when either of those two components disappears, then it can go south pretty fast. Let me use the relationship that God had with Israel as an example of what leads to the breakdown of a marriage. God described Israel as his wife in Isaiah chapter 54 verse 6 and called himself their husband in the previous verse. That's why it's a good example to use to describe the physical marriage between a man and a woman. When God rescued Israel from Egyptian bondage, they became his own, if you read Exodus chapter 19 verses 4 to 6. And their relationship was based on the fact that God was now their leader, and they should acknowledge his leadership and follow his guidance. For as long as they kept to that, their relationship was smooth. During the days of Joshua and the elders that outlived Joshua, they lived in perfect peace and happiness and complete safety. Read Judges chapter 2 verse 7. But a time came when they lost that faith in God and they began to seek help from Gentile gods, just as a woman might seek other men. And it's at that point that the relationship lost its base and we started to hear about God being jealous. If you read 1 Kings chapter 14 verse 22, and their closeness gradually deteriorating. In the book of Hosea, God even said that he would return to his place until they would acknowledge their offense and seek his face, and that in their affliction they would seek him early. That is to say, they would now seek reconciliation, according to Hosea chapter 5 verse 15. What happened between Israel and God can happen between a man and a woman who are married. The Bible has a template for the hierarchy of a marriage, which involves a man leading his wife. Let's hear this. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Right from the Garden of Eden, it was set to be like this. If you read Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, that the desire of a woman should be to her husband, and that he should rule over her. And each person, therefore, has to play their role in order for the marriage to be successful and last long. But when that hierarchy gets messed up, be it by the man forsaking his job of protecting and leading the family, and maybe going after money or friends, or by the woman trying to dominate the relationship economically or any other way, that relationship is usually thrown in jeopardy. And these principles transcend just marriage between a man and a woman. The relationship that Jesus has with the church was set up based on the same principles. Jesus, being the head of the church, according to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 23, the example that Jesus showed and the things that he taught and laid out for the church, those are supposed to be what dictates what happens in the church. Pastors are supposed to guide their flocks based on it. But when that breaks down and pastors become more interested in money, which they in many cases have now, and the flock now gets scattered from Christ as a result of the lies that they believe, that relationship between Jesus and the church breaks down. And because of the prevalence of such pastors in our times, the way Jesus Christ intends on saving his church is by weeding out those bad elements. And that was what he was saying in Matthew chapter 13, verses 41 to 42, that he will gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and them which do iniquity. Okay, so in summary, a marriage breaks down when a man or woman or both lack the understanding of their roles in marriage, or they lose interest in carrying it out. God's template for relationships is the best, not just because he's the founder of marriage, but also because relationships that followed this template in the scriptures were successful, such as the relationship Sarah had with Abraham. Those who did not follow that template, their marriages went badly, like Moses and Zipporah. Zipporah rebelled against Moses, as you read in Exodus chapter 4, verses 24 to 26. So these are the kinds of things that cause the breakdown of marriage. If you enjoyed this video, or if you learned something from this video, then I would appreciate it if you click the like button, if you subscribe to the channel, and if you click the notification bell also, so that you'll know when we come back with our next video. Have a great day, and God bless you.